I'm going to try to hypnotize myself just by staring into my own eyes. Okay, I'm hypnotized. It's like the Matrix, dude. Your word associating with Palm Swipes After, a hormonal cloud of the latest episode of Mom Swipes Left. A budding breast buds podcast with two middle-aged women who would rather go to prison than keep going on like this. This is episode 106 about MSL episode 24 or 20 for 4. I'm your host, Pomme de Terre. Enjoy. I would give this episode 4 out of 5 potato eyes. I should have said that last week about last week's episode as well, that it was 4 out of 5, not 5 out of 5, because there's always room for improvement. After all, perfection is an illusion. My laugh track, laugh log, whatever you want to call it, my list of moments I enjoyed in this week's show. I have no context for this, but I wrote down kick some little kid ass. There was a great update on Carol's puffy labia, but all is well in Hot Tub Land as they've sussed out that Joel had been neglecting the pH. That left me with a lot of questions about pH. For one thing, what does pH stand for? And apparently it stands for potential of hydrogen, which would make something more acidic if it had a lot of hydrogen atoms. But that also made me wonder about, well, Jen had a good suggestion about getting a baseline by sticking a litmus test strip in Carol's cooter. Because, yeah, you have to know the baseline. But that made me wonder, what's Joel's spunk pH? Shouldn't we get a baseline on that and make sure that Joel hasn't been the problem all along? Perhaps we could wrap his dick in litmus paper and get a measurement that way. A little bit of research showed that per the WHO guidelines, which would be the World Health Organization, who pays attention to such things, 7.2 to 8.0 is the pH range required for healthy semen, although I think their definition of healthy in that context is, are the spermas safe in the level of pH, which I suppose would be true of a vagina as well. If the pH is wrong in someone's canal, that would probably kill the sperm. Natural spermicide, maybe that would be a desirable thing. I don't know. Now, also, apparently, the normal vagina pH range is between 3.0 and 5.0. So you can see how spunk, and I don't know if you happen to use, say, an IUD and come inside as a twir, would it potentially change the pH of Carol's cooka? A pH level between 7.2 and 7.8 should be maintained in your hot tub. So maybe Joel could just adjust it by jizzing in it. And you know what else is alkaline and could lower acidity, Carol? Potatoes. Dump a bushel in the tub or just cut a few fingerlings and stick them up there, you'll be good to go. Continuing. Oh, I laughed at Jen's concept of a perfect pitch of taste for a man who could determine a woman's vaginal pH with his tongue, say, although I would wager to guess that a woman would do it better. There was a really good conversation about menopause. I learned a lot. I had no idea what cohosh tea was, or that 3 almonds unsalted are the proper diet for a middle aged woman who is going through challenging times. I found it funny that when asking herself the question of whether she'd ever had a hot flash, Jen did, that Carol was the first to answer, "Oh no, you've never had a hot flash," as she monitors such things. I do love the term hormonal cloud and the fact that it makes all the sense. I have budding breast buds, which I put in the intro. I don't remember the context exactly. They're either accept that it has to do with the circle of fertility, which I think was a really interesting conversation, and how fertility changes women's ability to be selfish in a way. Just, and I don't mean that in a negative way, to think about themselves more than others. The whole maternal instinct is kind of a raw deal. I have positive pants. I don't have any context for that either. I want to say Carol was saying she was usually Miss Positive Pants. I don't think so. Joel is more of a Miss Positive Pants, especially according to the EQ IQ test that Jen issued to Carol and Joel, even though Carol went in assuming she was going to come out looking like a psychopath. I had some questions about the validity of the test. Could you really score a word association test that quickly? I found it funny that Carol's immediate word association with granddad was dead. And I enjoyed that in the summary of Carol's EQ results that she is someone who feels like the doom and gloom will never pass. And her response was, I do! So glad. I like that both of them enjoyed that finding your inner lion is gay. Oh, should have added hi poopins to the intro, as Joel said when he answered the phone. Though, very, very strategical. Carol wouldn't tell him her results so that he'd have to listen to the show. Hey, that's one more listen. Everything counts. Oh, Joel said something about his EQ being 32 was the meaning of life or the answer to life, but I believe it's 42 in Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide series, that the answer to the meaning of life is 42. His IQ was 128. I enjoyed that Carol's 112 was cute, but his is larger. Jen really wanted them to fight over who's smarter, which was a clue to me that the whole thing was was bullshit and really just a ploy on Jen's part to cause a kerfuffle. Never mind that if it was a real test, she would have taken it before anybody else to prove that she was the smartest. They lost all their Mongolian listeners this week, so good thing Joel was forced to listen and is mildly gifted. They took a AI would you rather test. Apparently, according to the AI, the best would you rather quiz ever, which I don't think AI is inherently boastful. It's the turd programmers who are teaching it to be boastful because they're also internet trolls who think that whatever they do is the best of anything. Look at all the Dabbleverse assholes who insist that they are the best at everything. Okay, just got myself in trouble. Oh, my Lanta. There's a good one. Two hots and a cot. Yeah, that was a good conversation about the benefits of going to prison. I couldn't find an article, but I remember there being a story a few years ago about a woman who intentionally got herself put away just to escape her children. Apparently, according to Carol, the one downside of prison might be rape, but it's a heavy might. I liked that in the choice between would you rather be able to predict the future or read people's minds, that Jen immediately assumed that she wouldn't want to read other people's minds because they would just be thinking about her or criticizing her. You got issues, lady. I like the idea that brains are like drunk people. I know mine is definitely spring loaded and ping ponging all over the place. I enjoyed the irony of Carol saying she would use her mind reading powers to manipulate her employees, and Jen calling her on that she might get caught. And she said no, she would weasel her way out of why she knew they were thinking certain things. She's not an imbecile, even though she'd just taken a quiz that said she was. We had our first side jog. Don't remember what it was about, but it was very exciting. Boobles. Carol's sick of socials, so it was replaced by a Close Encounters of the Third Kind fart thing. What do you call it? Tune? Doesn't matter. Yes, said that already. I think it would have been good if the test results had names for the personality types. For instance, Carol's EQ kind of came out as the shame spiral, and Joel's came out as a joy whore. That's all I got. Love you too, baby. Oh my god, that's way too long.